Hi everyone, Debbie from Debbie's Crafty Hands. Welcome back. Welcome especially to my new viewers. Thank you very much for coming and seeing what I'm up to. Today, you might be wondering why this is on the desk. No, I've not gone insane. Well, only slightly. But I'm going to be making or utilising silicone moulds and toilet paper. They make very lightweight ephemera, such as these feathers. Now these feathers were actually done with PVA glue, and they're quite flexible. The ones I'm making today will be more rigid, and again they're very lightweight. This is all PVA glue poured into the mould. This mixture I have here is half PVA, half water, so it's watered down. And basically it's quite a straightforward thing. I'll just talk you through the different moulds. Silicone moulds are better because they will slide out a lot easier once you've completed your image. This one here is great for patination on the bottom, but it's a little deep, so you can use it, but you won't necessarily want to fill it all the way to the top unless you want a particularly chunky embellishment. So that's one thing to look at, how deep or shallow are your moulds. Also, with the layering technique I'm going to be using, you will use up quite a lot of tissue, so consider the depth of your mould. I have a couple of examples: Christmas tree, feathers, snowflakes, fairy doors, and roses. Today I'm going to be doing roses, some feathers, and I've just started preparing a skull. So what you need to do is put your tissue on in small pieces, lay it over the top, and use a paintbrush to soak the tissue. It doesn't need to be dry. You want it quite damp, so that it will soak into the layers underneath. Gently pat it with the end of your toothbrush. If you've got a difficult bit that won't come off the edge, then
what?
Did I say toothbrush? I meant paintbrush. It's been a long day, everyone. It's been a long day. Well, you could use a toothbrush if you want to, but I wouldn't recommend it with PVA glue. One, you might end up with your teeth stuck together, and two, it won't taste very nice, and I'm pretty sure it's toxic. So yeah, not a good idea. So I'm just pushing it down with my silicone brush, because it's a little bit firmer than the brush with the teasels on it. Next layer, and you want it level. This particular one I want level with the top of my silicone mould. Now I'm nearly there. I'm not sure how many layers on, fair few. Fold in from the edges, tuck it down, make sure your brush is nice and wet, and keep facing on top. So you've got a nice flat surface. The reason you want a flat surface is not necessarily because it will help the image at the front, but if you're going to be sticking it onto a surface, you want a reasonably flat surface to stick on. So put that to one side and let it dry. Now it may not be dry completely because it is very wet, and if not, if it's too wet to bring out of the mold to show you at the end, then I will show you in the next video. Bit of a cliffhanger there for you. So I've got it level with the top of the mold. If it's a little bit bumpy, you can always file it down once it's completely dry. I'm going to pop that by the radiator to dry. Now, when you start these off, you need to make sure you've got a big enough piece to cover the entire piece you're doing. So you've got a top layer basically, and you do that a couple of times. So my feather that I'm going to be doing is this one here, and my bit of tissue will completely cover that area, so I'm happy. And also you've got to, like when you're building a fish pond, you need to allow for the edges as well as the actual size. Please ask me how I know. We had pond liner, we measured it beautifully, and somehow it was too small because we forgot to measure the depth. So yes, you want it so it sinks in and it still comes out and covers the edges. I brush a little bit of my mixture. Don't forget the little bit at the end, just to moisten my and allows the tissue to grab. Excuse me. Can you use other tissues? As long as it's water soluble, it should work. The whites of the serviettes are good to use. You want something that's going to get nice and soft when it's wet and will layer to itself. If you wanted, you could use colour tissue, yeah. You want to get right down in. Worth taking your time on this initial layer. It will stand you in good stead. Right into that little hole there. Dampen your brush regularly so that your tissue is nice and wet. And gently pull in from the sides, but not pull away from the sides, because you want it right up to the edges and deep down into your little crooks and crannies at the bottom, which will give you your pattern. Now you might find some things and your pattern is still showing. You've still got a bit of silicone above where you put your bits, your first layer down. That's because your layers sunk right down into the bottom of your silicone mold, and there's more layers will bring you up level with the rest of the imprint. That little stem in there. Come on, in you go. Down you go. I need my silicone on for that. Push it right into it. That's better.
Where do you get these molds and tools from?
This particular feather one, I believe, was off of Amazon, but places like Hobbycraft and other craft shops would normally have a small range of silicone molds. You can, as with this mould here. You can buy them in the cake section as well as the crafting section. Right, so once you've got your first layer in, once again you want to get a bit of tissue that's big enough to cover your whole area. Put the wrong brush in. Okay. Keep your mixture stirred so that it doesn't separate. Nice wet brush, and basically keep layering up until you got to the top. Very straightforward. Few supplies, but hopefully good results. It's worth just taking your time, making sure it goes right up to the edges in all the little creases and what have you, so that you really get a good sharp image. Keep pushing down gently. Keep filling your brush up with the solution. So once again, that's half Mod Podge, whatever. I've got matte here, but you if you want it to have a glossy look, then you can have the gloss Mod Podge and just normal tap water. It is quite therapeutic, and you can zone out just sort of prodding at your tissue paper. Start layering a bit more. Up. So, what have you been doing with yourselves today, everybody? I've second video today, and I'm due to go to work this evening.
Or about that one yet?
Oh, it will be. They haven't contacted me yet, so it will be confirmed now. Because no news is. I'm not sure if it's good or bad news, but I'm doing overtime tonight.
Means that you're probably not working tomorrow.
Probably not. No. Yes. I'm good, but not that good. I do need to sleep in between. My little stem done. These are a project that you can sort of do in front of the telly, possibly. Quite relaxing, as I say, and it doesn't take a lot of dare I say it, brain power. You do obviously have to watch what you're doing and make sure it's going in where you want it to, but it's not intricate, shall I say. So you could, a bit like fussy cutting in front of the telly or something like that, you can zone out a little bit with it and then leave it overnight and take them out in the morning. Have a nice lot of embellishment. So once they're out, they're basically a paper mache figure or image, 3D, and they're very lightweight to put on cards and decorate, maybe picture frames or something. Maybe you're going to make a picture frame from a cereal box or something, and you paint it and you want to decorate it with leaves and flowers or whatever. Get yourself a couple of silicone molds and a roll of toilet roll, and away you go. You have don't have to buy already made stuff at the craft shop. You can make your own. You could use other things, like maybe the lid off of jars, if you just want to get a shape, and you want it up, so you could use like the inside of the lids. It needs to be reasonably shallow and not too big, because you don't want it sort of snapping on you. Because although once they're on your product, they'd be quite strong, or your card or whatever, but they are quite delicate. So you store them in a container that's not going to get sort of something put on it and break them. Maybe a jar or plastic tub or something, and with a lid on, so that they're not going to break. Nearly there. You can seal them so that makes them more waterproof. Then, like any paper, you can use whatever medium: pencils, crayons, paints, felt tips, markers, just to decorate them. But you have to make sure they're fully dry, and it's probably best to seal them once you've got your colour on, to stop them getting wet again, because obviously the nature of tissue paper is to dissolve in liquid, or you don't want to get it all wet once you've done all this hard work to get the image you want. Stem is almost level now. The rest of the body needs a little bit more work. Give that a bit of a stir. And just lay it on, take it in from the sides and fold it over to give you extra layers. You don't have to cut it to size. Does anyone else craft with their tongue sticking out when you're concentrating, or is it just me? Answers in the comments, please. I'd love to know if I'm not the only insane one around. In there. Press down the silicone. If you're sticking this back bit onto a slick surface, say shiny card or something, this bottom bit can be a bit rougher and it give you more purchase, or you can sand the shiny bit that you want to stick upon, and that will help you get more purchase as well. What else can I tell you about things? Be painted with nail polish. I love to paint things with nail polish. They are.
The next video we're going to be decorating.
I think that's the plan. Yeah. Once we got a few, we can have some fun. Getting them nicely decorated and maybe even make a card with them. Give you some ideas of how to use them. That's pretty near to the top. I know Christmas has been and gone, but we do a quick Christmas tree. Oh no, we were going to do the rose, weren't we? Put that one over the side to dry. Now this is a slightly deeper one and smaller aperture because it goes quite deep, so you need to really get in there, right into the little in the rose. As you see, it's quite deep and it's got lots of, try and turn it inside out a bit for you, lots of where are we? Oh, there we are. Petal layers to give it a realistic look. So you have to really get in between all the petal layers. Going back to the nail polish, don't use nail polish remover to prevent your nail polishes from thickening. Nail polish remover will break down the nail polish and ruin the polish start. So you need to use a special thinner. I haven't currently got any and I'm researching it, so once I find out what's the best one to use, I'll let you guys know, and it'll give your polish a bit more life. But once you get the bug, you probably go through nail polish quite quickly, like I do. Not for my nails, I'm not allowed to wear nail polish at work, so I see a nice colour in the pound shop or in the chemist going special offer, and I snap it up because I know there are so many things in the crafting world that nail polish is brilliant for. So next time you go shopping and you see a good deal on the nail polish, or you want to do something different with your collection, I'm going to have plenty of ideas coming up. So get some nice colours to play with. The readiness. Putting tiny bits in this rose just to really break it down and push it right in. Working at it right around this. It goes out to the side a little bit underneath the mould, this one. Make sure you get it right into it. But it will be worth it in the end. And I won't do all three on camera, but I'll do them off camera, so I can do a nice little design with the three of them. Maybe paint them different colours and sit them together. I do have in the future to get a leaf mould so we can do roses and leaves, but I do have a leaf die cut so you can mix and match. You don't have to have all the same medium necessarily. You can have a leaf stamp, and then highlight it with the raised roses, or a die cut, or you could cheat and use a rose at the top of the feather. Yeah, be very sort of organic with it and mixed media. Right, we're nearly. I'm just going to push this down with my silicone brush, make sure I got right into the. Now when it dries, it may shrink a little due to the evaporation of the liquid, obviously. So that's why you need to make sure you're right up on the edges and nice, plenty of layers to allow for the shrinkage as well. Nearly done, guys. If you've just doing some, when you get the chance, just stick a bit of cling film and elastic band over the top of your pot, or put it in a jam jar and do the lid on, and it should keep for a few days. Some crafters finish off, they've got a little bit at the bottom of the Mod Podge jar, add some water, give it a good shake, and then just label it watered down. So if you're going through the Mod Podge, then that's another trick you can use as well. So you don't get the lid stuck. Same with a lot of glues in jars and that. You can put some cling film underneath the lid. So I haven't on this one, but just on the top here. Where are we? On the top here, put some cling film and then put the lid on top, and that will help keep the moisture in and keep the life of your glue a little bit more. Now I think we've hit the top of this rose, and I think we're almost out of time. I will make some more off camera, and in the next episode we can have a play with them. Thank you for watching. Much love, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.